This is the Great Bowl Football Show, presented by Gate City Bank.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. No Missouri Valley team had won at Northern Iowa since 2009. Well, that ended this weekend as top-ranked North Dakota State rolled into Cedar Falls and dominated Northern Iowa in every phase of the game. A statement that served notice to the rest of the league that everyone is chasing the Bison. Head coach Craig Bohl is here to join us. And Coach, just very impressed with the victory. You have to be very satisfied today.
Well, we really are. You know, our players worked extremely hard during this last week, and we knew we were going to need to play well. Anytime you go into Cedar Falls, you have to be bringing your A game. Our guys played on point. We had a good plan. Those guys executed it. When
you were looking throughout the week, what were your impressions of Northern Iowa? Obviously a very physical team, as they were in the past.
Well, without question, and not only a physical team, but a team that had a lot of different weapons. Their quarterback, Cole Morgan's got a great arm. They play excellent defense, and they always play particularly well in Cedar Falls, and so it was a real good quality win.
Let's take a look at the highlights. It was a sellout at the Unidome. It was pretty loud in there. Not Fargo Dome loud, but it was loud in there, and it was a good atmosphere. Brian Shepard gets the Bison defense off to a great start, really sets the tone for the game.
Here you can see Brian came up with a great break on the football and knocked the ball away, and that was a big third down defense.
Really good first drive offensively, really in sync.
Well, Brent Vigan had done a nice job dialing up some plays here, and that's another good combination that's starting to occur now. Trevor Gephardt to Brock Jensen.
Here's a reverse play in the red zone that didn't work out.
Now it was this kind of time. Sometimes those plays look great, sometimes they don't. And credit you and I here, we came up with a field goal.
It's 3-0 Bison after the field goal. A nice start, though, offensively. Moved the ball very well. Their young quarterback also started pretty well.
Well, Kyle Kormorgan is a very good quarterback, and he's going to be good for years to come. Here they hit a nice side pocket route to Terrell Singfeld.
They have a good field goal kicker, but he does miss one here early.
You know, surprisingly, he's probably the top kicker in the league coming into this year, and he does not miss very often, particularly doesn't miss very often at home.
So it's still 3-0, really settling into a great ball game. And John Crockett, this is the start of a big night for John, this run right here.
Well, John really was super excited about playing this game, as he is all games. But you can see John's really getting into a stride as far as his reads, his cuts, and moving us along.
We move into the second quarter now, and you get into field goal range here, and they do block this one. It looked like a good push up front.
Well, they had a good push, and we didn't get a great trajectory. And I think we got to look at our protection to make sure it's a little bit more secure.
So they have the momentum now. They start to move the football, and they have a load at running back, this David Johnson.
I don't know. He must be about 220 pounds. He's got good vision. Actually, Coach Kleiman recruited him when he was down there. I wish he wouldn't have done that, but he's a really good quality player.
Now, Andre Martin playing for the Bison, used to play for Northern Iowa, and they threw at him early in the game here.
Well, they certainly did, and I'm sure they wanted to try to test him. But between the underneath coverage and Andre coming up and made a nice secure tackle.
There are a few penalties on this drive that kept the drive alive. Here's a pass interference in the end zone.
You know what? We kept struggling here, and we got called for pass interference in the end zone. That's going to make it extremely difficult.
And they capitalized. David Johnson gets the touchdown. It's 7-3 right now, settling into just a real physical game.
Well, we knew it was going to be a tight ball game the whole way, and our players were prepared for that.
Well, a few years ago, when the Bison lost at Northern Iowa, you were sacked 11 times. Only once in this game. This is the one right here.
Well, I know. This is off a play-action pass. It's a little bit more risky protection. You can see their end did a nice job beating our pulling guard.
Huge play right here. This is a punt. They field it inside the 5. You get a takeaway.
Well, nice job by Ben LeCompte, and then really good job of stripping. I don't know if it was Christian Dudzik or Kyle Emanuel. Somebody punched the ball out.
And that totally changed the momentum. You capitalize, you punch it in right away with Crockett.
Well, anytime you can come up with that kind of field position, it gives your offense a big boost and a nice touchdown.
This blitz call, we're going to talk about this throughout the show, but what a great call by Coach Kleiman.
Well, really good pressure there by Travis Beck, and had a free gap to come through, and then we got the strip and a turnover.
And go for the big play offensively right after this with that middle screen to Sam.
Nice job, and we've run this play a lot, not against Northern Iowa, so we pulled it out of our repertoire there, and it worked very well.
This turf, not great, and we see it right here. The footing was not really good.
It's not a good surface, and Brock lost his footing there and forced us to a field goal.
You do get the 3 before half, though. That wraps up the first half here. It's 13-7 at the break. A nice start for the Bison. Have the lead at halftime. Brock Jensen, very good. Trevor Gebhardt, again, starting to emerge. 4 catches, 41 yards. The 2 takeaways for the Bison. Time of possession, very solid. Ryan Smith returned in this ballgame. Has a big second half coming up, but first, he's on the Bison hot seat. What's the most painful injury you've ever had?
I cut my toe off on my dock when I was going to be a junior in high school. That didn't feel too good.
I guess not. Do you prefer fruit or vegetables?
Fruit, for sure.
What's more important to you, the television or the internet?
I got to say the internet.
What's your favorite season of the year, spring, summer, fall, or winter?
Probably summer because you get to go out to the lake.
If you could have an endless supply of food, what would it be?
I have to say cereal. I like cereal a lot.
How many dates would you go on before you introduced that person to your parents?
Minimum 4, at least.
What's your favorite cartoon as a kid?
I really like the Rugrats as a kid. I watched those a lot.
Okay. If you owned a yacht, what would you name it?
The Colton Eagle.
What's your worst personality trait?
People call me shy sometimes. I guess that could be it.
Okay. If you could snap your fingers and appear somewhere else, where would you want to be?
I would be in a room with Gabby Douglas, who just won the Olympic gymnastics title.
Okay, not bad. Welcome back to the show. Coach, it's 13-7 at halftime. What adjustments were you making in the locker room?
Well, we needed to make sure we could create some pass rush, and that was going to be important for us. And then also to do some things in the throwing game. We felt good about our protection, and we knew we could get the ball downfield.
You won the toss at the start of the game. You deferred, so you get the ball to start the second half. That's always a big thing, isn't it?
Well, that's kind of our operation.
Yeah.
And so we feel like it's important to set the tempo of that second half.
All right, the Bison start with the ball. Let's dive into this second half and see how this played out. A very impressive second half by the Bison. John Crockett, this first drive, this was a big play to set the tone for the half.
Well, you can see nice job of blocking by Ryan Smith, and then John bounces outside. He shows his speed and durability and comes up with a big game.
43 yards on the run by Crockett. He finishes the drive off with a 6-yard run. Great cut right here.
Nice job, good footwork, and a nice job of blocking, and that really established some momentum, Jeremy, coming in out of halftime with a touchdown. 6
plays, 80 yards on that drive. You and I did answer a 19-yard pass play, and they're moving now.
Well, they've got good players, and here you can see Sigfield going against Marcus, and the ball was right on the money.
Corner route here for a touchdown against Andre Martin.
Well, once again, a good throw, and put our corner out there on an island, and they did what they needed to do. They've got good players, and they came up with a good play.
So it's 20-14, and they go for a gamble here. They're going for the pick 6 on the sideline route right here. It doesn't work out for them, though.
Well, it could have gone the other way, and a nice throw by Brock, and a nice job by Ryan wrestling the ball away, and we came up and moved the chains.
Well, Ryan Smith was big on this drive. A 3rd and 7 right here makes a big catch.
Well, anytime you can come up and stay on the field on 3rd down, it's huge. And here you can see Brock put the ball right there, and Ryan cradled it and came up with the first down.
I think this might have been the play of the game right here. Great protection for Brock. He scrambles around in an unbelievable catch by Gebhardt.
Well, they had great coverage, and our offensive line, as you said, did a nice job. Brock fired the ball down the field, and wow, what concentration, and great job by Trevor Gebhardt.
Yeah, he caught it off his back shoulder there in traffic. Adam Keller now, what a kick.
44-yard field goal, and that time of the game, it really had a big significance because you can see the point differential. I believe we're up now by 9.
Yep, 2-possession game now, and you and I here throws into double coverage, underthrown, and Marcus takes it.
Not a good idea. You throw it Marcus's way, particularly if it's undercovered, you're going to come up with this kind of results, and we're glad that Marcus was able to return this week.
And that sets up a nice drive right here. And Brock Jensen, he had just thrown an incompletion to Vra on this same route, went right back to it, and Vra makes an incredible catch.
Well, this is a tough throw to make. You're going from one hash all the way to the other sideline. And great job of Zach coming up for the football and then coming up with the interception as well. I mean, reception as well.
Now we move into the 4th quarter and fade route here to Vodlin, and it's a broken coverage by UNI.
Nice job of scheming up the coverage by Brent Vegan and Brock. Good protection. Kevin Vodlin, I believe that's his first touchdown.
30-14, opening up this ball game now. UNI moving the ball with David Johnson.
Well, this is a late in the game, and you know, we're going to make them bleed a little bit. We're looking at the clock. The clock's our ally, and our guys are still out there competing.
About another time for a Travis Beck blitz right here.
Oh, without question. Here, Travis comes off the corner and comes up and with the speed rush and comes up with a big sack.
Now you start to milk the clock, just moving the clock. People are heading for the exits, and you go back to John to just kind of grind out that running game.
Well, you know, like we said, John's done a nice job and a good job by our offensive line. John shows some great balance there and comes up with the first down.
Here's that quarterback keeper play also. Brock takes it for 19. A nice block out on the edge here by Vodlin.
Nice job there, and Brock comes down the field securing the first down here and keeps us in deep in their territory.
And you had 3 more points to the total here. It's 33-14 at this point. The game's pretty much over.
Well, you know, that's how we were looking at it, but you never know until that last gun goes off.
And we show this just for the purpose to show the score is basically 33-14. They do get a garbage touchdown here, though. That makes the final score 33-21. And we'll take a look at some of the stats here. Just an impressive road win by NDSU. Can't say that enough. Brock Jensen, 22 of 31. Crockett, the first 100-yard game by a back for NDSU this year. 19 carries for 122 yards. Shepard and Olson, very good defensively. Total yardage, 419 to 285, and you and I got a lot of those late in the game. Let's hear what the players had to say after the ballgame.
For road games, we have an awesome facility in the Fargo Dome, and we use the crowd noise, and we're ready for hostile environments. You know, we're ready for anything that anybody throws at us, and you know, we give credit to our coaching staff. You know, they prepare us as best as they can, and they do a wonderful job, and really just leave it to the players come Saturday.
Anytime you get turnovers, it's a big play, and I seem to find I got times like this, like I had that one at UNI last year. It was just the right time and the right play call in particular. So anytime we get to take a turnover on defense, it's a big play.
You know, who's ever out there, you know, wide receivers, tight ends, running backs, fullbacks, they're all making plays. You know, when the ball's, you know, thrown, they're making the catches, and they're doing a good job running after the catch, and you know, they're just playing great, and we need to continue to do that.
Well, Coach, a very physical Missouri Valley football game. Did you come out of it healthy?
By and large, we did. Levon Perry's got a little bit of a wrist injury. We'll x-ray that today and find out exactly where he's at. But outside of that, I think for that type of physical game, we're pleased.
Well, we talked about Brock Jensen earlier, how good he has been. He had some great comments after the game there, but let's break him down a little bit. Through 4 ball games here, just very impressive, efficient, doesn't turn the ball over, and just makes plays out there.
Well, he makes a lot of plays, and he's got a lot of ability. Here you can see him dropping back, and he's got good arm strength, and that's not only a strong arm throw, but that's a touch pass as well, and that's difficult to do. Here you can see once again coming back, balls all the way across the field. That really stresses a defense, and by and large, the thing he's done, he's made great decisions. You can see that he takes care of the football. You go on the road and you come up with turnovers, you don't turn it over, you got a great chance to win. And here you can see once again his mobility. He's always looking down the field. He's got active feet, cocks the arm, and delivers a strike.
No interceptions to start the year either. They're very impressive, very efficient. Now, John Crockett really starting to emerge. Each week gets better. His footwork gets better. He's a confident running back, too.
Well, you know, it's been 2 years since John's played football, and he really has a hunger for a game. He's got great vision, and he's got good strength, and he's a big guy as well, and he has a great passion for playing this game for the Bison.
6 yards a carry, that's a stat that really stands out. If you're getting over, 4 yards a carry, that's good. 6 is a solid number.
6 is a great number, and, you know, we're going to be a balanced offense, and that's really probably been the biggest attribute that we've been able to run the ball and throw the ball, and having guys like John's really helped.
And I noticed on 3rd and short, too, you really rely on him, and you trust him to get those yards. He's not just an outside runner with speed. He can get those tough yards.
Got good leg drive and very determined, and once again, he's got good instincts as well.
We'll talk about these 2 blitzes, too, where Travis Beck came up with the big play. We're going to break these down a little bit. Great calls by Chris Kleiman. He really drew this up nicely.
Here you can see we came up with the pressure in the B gap, and they had no way to block our blitzing linebacker. And Travis comes up and not only makes a tackle but strips the quarterback and causes a big turnover.
Travis has a knack for big plays too, doesn't he? He had one in the title game.
Yeah, he certainly does. And, you know, the Munich native has done a nice job, and here he came off the edge on a 4th down sack.
That was a great game, a great win for NDSU, and an emotional game for Chris Kleiman and Andre Martin. We're going to go in depth with Andre. He had quite the week last week. He's now a father. We'll break into that story next. Welcome back to the show. Bison defensive back Andre Martin became a father and also returned to his former school for a huge ball game this week. It was a lot to go through, but Andre came through like a veteran. Jamal Spencer spoke with Andre about how he is able to manage his time to take on all of this responsibility.
Brown going back under pressure, finds Leggett. It's picked off the deflection. This is Andre Martin in the open.
When Andre Martin Jr. graduated from UNI this spring, he wanted to continue his education, seeking a master's degree in gerontology, and NDSU provided him with the opportunity.
Brought it up to Coach Bohl, and Coach Bohl was saying, well, let's take a look. And the one thing I knew I could vouch for is Andre's character as a person, and that's all Coach wanted to know.
The guys, the coaches are very encouraging. I couldn't ask for anything better. It's a total blessing. Just coming here, it feel like I've been here for a couple years.
But Martin hasn't had to handle all the change by himself. His wife Nadia has joined him in Fargo, and the couple was blessed to welcome their first daughter, Atalia, into the world last Wednesday at 7 pounds and 5 ounces. Just days before Andre would return to the school that first gave him so many opportunities.
First and foremost, it's a blessing to be in this situation, to have a wife that can even have a child, and more so it's a blessing that I'm able to compete, get on the field, and have fun with the players.
The man who teammates refer to simply as Dre has done a great job of balancing it all: school, football, and family.
It's been a challenge, but anything that's worth it, it's going to be a challenge, and that's the beauty in it. Have something to work for every day. It's never a dull moment. So,
for the Craig Bohl Football Show, I'm Jamal Spencer.
Coach Kleiman talked a little bit about it there, but great character for Andre. He's a good guy.
Phenomenal. You know what? Sometimes the stars align right. Andre talks about a blessing for him to be here. Believe me, as a head football coach, it's a blessing to have a guy like Andre Martin join our football team. He's a proud member of the Bison football program.
You know, Coach, sometimes when kids transfer, it doesn't always work out. It's hard for them to blend into a team that's already successful. He has fit in nicely.
Well, I think there's a lot of reasons for that. First of all, some guys transfer because they're not happy where they're at. Andre came here for an education, and those are value systems that are going to speak well for him. He's a mature young man. Got a phenomenal wife and now a family, and Fargo-Moorhead and the NDSU Nation is better off for Andre Martin joining us.
Well, coming up, we're going to have our Nodak Mutual Insurance Player of the Game, and also we're going to dive into a future crop of Bison, one of those young receivers that is starting to emerge. We're going to talk about this Youngstown State game. What a big game that's going to be. Stay with us. The Bison receiver group, what else can be said at this point? They've gone from a question mark to one of the more elite receiving units in the nation. Deep in the depth chart at receiver is this week's future crop of Bison. Former Fargo South star Andrew Oakland is seeing the field and making some plays. Andrew has all of the tools to be a breakout star down the road. He was first-team All-State for a South Championship team, a 2-year starter in basketball. After redshirting, he is excited about the way his Bison career has started.
I guess, since last year I redshirted, it was kind of hard just sitting in the stands and watching everybody. But, this year it's finally my opportunity to get out there and make plays, and, it feels great. That first catch, I was like, finally the ball's coming my way. It's, it's such a good feeling. I kind of got hit a little hard on that play, but, whatever. It was definitely worth it. I'm loving it right now.
Good-looking young player there. Well, this week's Nodak Mutual Insurance Player of the Game is John Crockett. John is turning heads on a weekly basis. We spoke earlier in the show of his phenomenal stat lines. This weekend, rushing for over 100 yards against a stout Northern Iowa front seven. But his personality has to be factored in also. He brings energy and a real visible confidence that is rubbing off on the entire team.
If you look at the teams we played before here, we played some, pretty good teams, but, none to the caliber of UNI. They're a great football team. and we wanted to go out there and prove that, you know, we're number one for a reason, and we want to show that. So we did that.
I think his personality is rubbing off, isn't it? He's a very vibrant guy.
You know what? He really appreciates being here. He's gone through an awful lot. He brings a great deal of passion and energy to the football team. Every day is a great opportunity for John, and it's been fun working with him, and he's got a bright, bright future.
Yep, let's look at the standings in the Missouri Valley, and boy, a showdown has been set up. Youngstown State at the Fargo Dome this week, 4-0. Both teams have an FBS win. Both teams have all qualifying wins, 1 versus 3 in the nation. Wow, and Youngstown State, we'll see some video here, won in the Fargo Dome last year, Coach.
You know what, and it wasn't a fluke. They came in and they just beat us, and they're a very good football team. You know what we need to be mindful is Youngstown State, I believe, has 5 national championships at this level, and you know, and they're in the heart of great football area, and they're well coached, and it's going to be a big, big challenge for us.
Do you think the team remembers this moment from last year? I mean, that was the only loss in a national title year. It's the only loss in the last 2 years.
Well, I think our team certainly does. I know I do as well. And it's a real mindful reminder that every Saturday you got to be ready to play because there's great competition in our league.
And this is one of those pivotal games when we just saw the standings there. Both teams 4-0. 1-0 in the conference. This is a game that's pivotal that, you know, in the big picture is a very important game.
Oh, it's a huge game, and our guys recognize it. Now, they have the advantage. They didn't play last week, and so all week long they were working out on us, I'm sure. They're well coached, but once again, we're coming back to the Fargo Dome. We play well here.
All right, fans, be loud. Make that dome very loud on Youngstown State this week. The Bison are undefeated. That game will be statewide on the NBC North Dakota Network. Have a great week, everybody.